Okay, so fluid movement in plants. So the root system contains fine root hairs, and these root hairs are extensions of the epidermal cells, which protect the outside of the plant. When the concentration of water is greater on the outside of these root hairs, then the water can pass through the membrane by osmosis, which continues from cell to cell until it reaches xylem tissue. The tube-shaped xylem tissue cells move the water by a buildup of water pressure in the root hairs, so high pressure to low pressure, forcing the water up the xylem tissue like the water up a straw into the stems and leaves. Transpiration is a loss of water in a plant that happens through evaporation, and it is called transpiration. It is not a problem unless the plant uses too much water and it can't replace it by the roots. So the movement of water throughout the plant happens because of the difference in pressure. So the high pressure in the root hairs allows to lower the pressure in the leaves. Okay, so there's a pushing and pulling of water throughout the whole plant. Okay. So plants require a large supply of water to make sugars in the process of photosynthesis. A group of cells that perform similar functions are called tissues, and the transportation of nutrients is the role of plant tissues. So vascular tissues connect the roots to the leaves. Phloem tissue transports the sugars manufactured in the leaves to the rest of the plant, and xylem tissue conducts water and minerals absorbed by the root cells into every cell in the plant. And xylem and phloem tissue usually occur together along the length of the plant stems and roots. Okay, so a root system contains fine root hairs, and these hairs are extensions. So this is what we talked about already. Okay, so if we cut down here to where photosynthesis takes place in a layer of cells that contain chloroplasts, and these cells are called palisade cells, and they are thin, allowing a large amount of light in, so they have a large surface area, and it enables the gases in the air to diffuse into the leaf cells. They also have tiny openings called stomata, where they allow air to enter the leaf, supplying oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. The spaces between the leaf cells allow the air to flow, and the guard cells open and close the stomata. It's a lot of information. This is something we will continue to learn about, okay? We have levels of organization, so the smallest of which are cells. So they're the same structure and function, and they form tissue. Okay, cells are some of the smallest. You build a whole bunch of cells together, and they are a tissue. So a tissue is a group of similar cells that work together. They have similar structure and function, and they form organs. Organs are made up of several tissues that all work together. They are distinct structures in the body and perform particular functions. And then a whole system is organs that work together to perform activities that help the organism function as a whole. So a plant's reproductive system, the flowers, fruits, and seeds, are often produced at certain times as well. Organ systems perform all of life's functions to keep the organism alive. We will talk about, or let's continue, with plant organization. So here's a picture of the anatomy of a cell. You guys will have this. This is yet another picture that we're talking about, where you guys need to know and be able to point out all of the bits and pieces. Okay, now plant tissue. Plants have dermal tissue that covers and protects the entire plant surfaces. They have ground tissue that makes up the majority of the plant, and then their vascular tissue that conducts water and solutes throughout the body. So there are two types of vascular tissue, xylem tissue and phloem tissue. Okay, then we'll look at plant organ systems in the next video.